And then she did something that rock stars don't do very often, which was retire. And we talked about what she did during that time, and she said, she had a wonderful line, she said, "I lived as a citizen." And so you've talked about what artists ought to do about the current circumstance and some of the things, the concerns you expressed. What should citizens do if they want to have a music that matters?
I don't really, myself, when I said I resumed the citizen, a lot of it, taking the words from George Washington, was that, I went from having a leadership position to having very little responsibility to understanding what responsibility was, taking care of children, taking care of, a husband, taking care of, the garbage, the cats, scrubbing the floors, washing the diapers. So in that way, I began to understand how, how people, the strife of people, how hard people work. And it made me respect, my fellow man and my parents a lot more when I saw the daily, the happy daily toil of, having a family. And what was the question? Sorry.
Recalling your time as a citizen, what do you suggest to people who agree with what you and Sandy have said?
Well, people have to speak, they have to take charge. It's as simple. I went into a clothing store with my daughter. She's 17. She's a cool girl, but, she's got good moral fiber. I have a mouth on me at times, but hopefully a mouth that has some responsibility to my fellow man. We walk in the store, and there's this music blaring on that's so loud, and the bass and it's so loud. First of all, it made me feel physically ill. I couldn't think or hear, but the stuff the person was saying was so destructive and so violating. Basically it was like, "I'm going to get you." Well, there's children here, but this is a store where people, mothers and their kids come in and out. It's for young teenagers. And then I started I said, "Oh my gosh, what is that?" And she said, "Oh, it's all right, Mommy, it's wherever you go." And I listened to it, and it was really bad. To me, it wasn't what, when in the 70s when we fought for, against censorship. I'm opposed to censorship, but I think that censorship, being without censorship does not mean being without responsibility. We have to, freedom is not only freedom for oneself, but to create space, make certain that your fellow man also feels free. And I felt extremely violated by this very aggressive, negative music and the words being said in this music. So I went up to the guy, the salesperson, and I told him that. Of course, my daughter was mortified because, even though she agreed with me, but I told him what I thought, and I said, first of all, this decibel is not healthy. I'm a musician myself. This is not a healthy decibel. And, that kind of violence, hammering it into people and numbing them with that kind of, destructive language that has no redeemable qualities is not good for a public place. Well, the guy told me to go fuck myself, but that's okay. But I said I did what I could. I made my statement. I left the store. I wouldn't participate in the store. I go into a hotel with my daughter, and there's like porno movie, a nice hotel, and I see, things for porno movies, with like, suggestive pictures. And it's like my daughter and I can't go into a hotel without seeing like people writhing, on these cards. So I went down and told the guy, "This is inappropriate. This is inappropriate. If you want to, have those things available, then, there's an appropriate way to do it." Now, this might seem, kind of square, but I'm no square person. But I do feel that when I think something's inappropriate, whatever it is, you say something about it. You say something about it. You complain, and that's like when people complain about, like, somebody, my records, or I had a record, that had improper language on it. I actually asked the record company, please put on it that there's language that's inappropriate for minors. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. We have to, like, have some kind of standard. We have to agree on certain things. We have to protect our children. They see a lot of things, and we don't want to shelter them totally. But we have to have some kind of concern about one another and concern about the feelings of people and the feelings of children. And I think that in everything we do, if we don't like what the radio station is playing, then tell them we don't like it. People just sit around with everything in life. Oh, the stream is polluted and there's algae and the fish have boils on them. Well, what am I supposed to do about it? Do something like Robert Kennedy Jr. did, or like, Mother Teresa, or, various other people. You just, say something.